All right, Nick, let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes. We all know Coach Mario Cristobal hit the streets, got a ton of great recruits in this 2024 recruiting class. But not only that, he got some of the biggest portal transfers as well. Most notably, Cam Ward signed with the team. But that's not the only person that Cam Ward signed with. He's recently signed with a Miami-based NIL collective. Let's get in the article and we'll talk about it on the other side. It says on January 1st, Cam Ward, the top transfer quarterback this offseason, stunned most of the college football world when he announced the decision he was entering the draft. That decision held up for just 13 days, however, as Ward doubled back and committed to the Hurricanes. Now, fully bought into the Mario Cristobal's program, he's ready to get the Canes back on the right track in the ACC. He announced an NIL partnership with the Miami-driven NIL collective Canes Connection on Friday morning. It's his first endorsement since he arrived in South Beach. The collective was launched in August of 2022 and is operated by co-CEOs Zach Burr and Brian Goldmeyer, who are fundraising professionals and with more than 30 years of experience running business development firms in the Miami-Dade area. The collective has set a goal of raising $10 million annually. Nick, I think this is a perfect, connection, no pun on the name there, between Ward and just the general Miami area to get him in this NIL collective. I think is a really great match. Curious what your thoughts are on what all of this means for the Hurricanes. But Miami fans, let us know in the comment section below. 2024 recruiting class / transfer class in the books. Let us know what grade you gave Coach Mario Cristobal on the transfers and recruits he brought into the school for this coming season. Is it an A? Did he do an excellent job? Is it a B? Is it an F? Do you hate it? I don't see how you could, really. But let us know what your grade for this recruiting / transfer class is in the comment section below. But Nick, what are your thoughts on the latest deal inked by Cam Ward?
So we've seen in some Miami Hurricane videos we've done on this channel, we've seen a funny little hashtag and comment, a storm is brewing in Miami in terms of Miami getting better and better. And it seems like there's a lot of momentum for the Hurricanes rising to the top of the college football ranks. I think the biggest sign of what's going down in Miami, I think it transcends college football. I think we look at something more of a macro level of the entire economic situation of this country and frankly maybe even the globe, and that is Miami becoming one of the largest hubs just of all industry on the planet. Right now, very quickly, there's been a lot of news reports over the past year or two of a bunch of major financial institutions. We're talking massive banks, massive hedge funds, ergo billions and billions, and in some case, tens of billions of dollars moving from Chicago, moving from New York City, and coming down to Miami. Now, why does that matter? If you look at the competition in the SEC and the ACC that Miami has to go up against in recruiting, they don't have the financial centers. Look, I love Tuscaloosa. I love Tallahassee. I love Baton Rouge. I love Fayetteville, right? I love Clemson, South Carolina. I love Chapel Hill. These are small towns. These are, relatively speaking, smaller communities, smaller, greater city areas. In terms of dollars and cents, they don't come remotely close to what Miami is. When you factor in all of this money moving down to Miami in the dawn of the NIL, we're going to see a situation where the Miami Hurricanes can essentially become the New York Yankees of college football. And I don't mean that in the bad way. I know people crap on programs. Oh, you're just buying recruits. That's the way it's always been done. That's been going back recruiting 60, 70 years. People have given recruits a shiny Trans Am going back to the 1980s. And suddenly people are like, oh, why is what's NIL is terrible. It's ruining the game. Grow up, right? At least it's free. At least it's legal. At least now we're going to see some of these athletes have an opportunity to make money, as they should. And a lot of them should. And credit to Miami for taking advantage of the fact that the city of Miami is becoming the largest boom town in the country. And that prevailing macro force, I think, will drive the Hurricanes to have more financial opportunities. And we're not just talking NIL money. We're talking about the city blowing up. My honest opinion, you fast forward 20, 30 years, Miami is the new New York City in terms of the biggest hub in the country, not just in finance, but in culture and arts and style and everything you want in the city. I think Miami's heading that way, right? And we're seeing it with the people moving down to Florida, moving down to South Florida. We're seeing what the Hurricanes are doing. Like, it's a lot of energy in that city and community, and it's only going to grow. And I think what we're seeing from the Hurricanes in terms of these big NIL collectives, in terms of pulling in surprising transfer moves, I think it's just an indication of that energy, that storm brewing in South Florida. And I think what we're going to see from the Miami Hurricanes when we look back 10, 15, if we fast forward 10, 15 years and look back, I think this is going to be the inflection point of the city of Miami exploding, coinciding with the football program at the University of Miami exploding. I think the dynasty, another era of the U is returning. In the old days, it was just the strength of recruiting in South Florida and dominating and getting elite coaches and talent. And they still certainly can do that. But I think this time there's another factor pushing Miami forward, and it's the total economic and population and cultural boom going on in South Florida. And I think that makes the Miami Hurricanes the most powerful and before long, the most fear inducing program in college football looking out in the future.
Yeah, Nate, and I think what you say is very true, but not only that, you look at the brand of the Miami Hurricanes. There's one of the few schools that truly has like a brand behind it as well. The brand of the city of Miami. How often do you see these guys come into schools and they might have a decent social media following? They might have a decent, presence online, but truly going to a school, going to a city boost their social media following, boost their presence as a whole, as a celebrity. I think Miami's one of the few schools that can do that. Alabama's great. I think Alabama does a lot, but there's not as much star power. There's not as much allure in Tuscaloosa. I don't think any city is as, social media relevant in college football landscape as a school like Miami. And it talks about Cam Ward coming in. He has 32,000 social media followers. I think we see that number fly up through the roof, not based on his play. I think just based on he is a hot name. He came to a big city. I think that alone is going to boost his value as far in the social media and the celebrity landscape. And I think that's going to go a long ways with recruits going forward, just saying, hey, I'm finally going to a school that's going to benefit me. Because we all know, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, social medias is one of the most important aspects for young athletes nowadays to get their brand out there, to get brand deals, to get, any kind of income coming in. Going through social media is one of the big things out there. And a school like Miami is truly one of the only schools I think that brings value to players as far as boosting their social media and just general brand as a whole.
And just one final point to end on, I want to go back to an era in the NFL level where I think is very similar, was that the center of Texas, namely the Dallas-Fort Worth area, in the 19s and 60s and 1970s, and really the 50s too, was a boom town. It exploded with a combination of oil and tech just blowing up that city and that community. What did that coincide with? The rise in the popularity of the Dallas Cowboys and the emergence of the Dallas Cowboys as America's team. Obviously the Cowboys had to get good players and win football games, but it certainly didn't hurt that they were part of a boom community, a boom town. In fact, I think it probably propelled the Cowboys to the level that they were in terms of popularity. And then that creates a feedback loop. People want to watch Dallas. People wanted to play for Dallas in the NFL. I think we're going to see that happen in Miami. I think the boom of Miami is going to reinvigorate this desire to go to the U and play for the U and watch the U and be fans of the U. And it's a massive feedback loop. Once there's that energy, recruits come, the better recruits come, the better transfers come. And then the other recruits and other transfers, they want to go to those other great, where all those other great players are going to, and it creates this massive feedback loop. I think we're in the early stages of that loop right now. And again, I don't think it'll be long before Miami, they're not just good again. I think they're going to be great again really soon.